Hello. Oh.
Hopefully you can hear me now.
We can hear you.
We're having some technical difficulties. Nobody could hear me. I'm hoping people can hear me now.
Oh, nobody could hear me or see me, so
No.
you know.
Oh, well, anyway, I was going to say I'm on my own. Mark's not here, but Mark is here now, so
Yeah,
no perfect in the end.
We've just been on a stream on Craig Campbell's channel, talking about digital PRs. We have been a bit on this channel already, but so we're just over there. Literally finished 3 till 4, and now it's 4 p.m. here, so no rest for the wicked.
Yeah, I haven't even any housekeeping or anything, Mark. So before we get started, we've got a really interesting topic to talk about today. We're going to be talking about building niche sites in 2023 and kind of the things we think that are most important for going into next year to keep in mind and to have as considerations when you're building a website next year, a niche website. But before we do that, I'm just going to do some housekeeping. And basically, if you're new around here, don't forget to like and subscribe. The more people that we get liked and subscribed to the channel, the more we can do more of these things and get the word out. We're big proponents of sharing our knowledge and sharing our information and that kind of stuff. And the more people we can share it with, the better. So don't forget to like and subscribe. We will be doing a giveaway at the end of the show. So if we get to 35 likes, we don't have Alfie, Elena's dog, to help us with the giveaway with the likes this time. So Mark might have to flash the merge to help us get to 35 likes. We'll see. We've got 21 people watching now already, though. So if everyone just gives it a like, then that should be a good chunk of the way there. Digital PR, Mark just said he's been on Craig's channel talking about digital PR. Digital PR has gone mental. Like, we're actually absolutely smashing it. We're getting links with clients the day they sign up. It's incredible. And it's been even more cool to see the behind the scenes look at the team's relationship with journalists. It feels like Pandora's box. You get in with one journalist, and I always thought there was like one journalist for one kind of publication, but there's a ton of almost feels like freelance journalists. You get a journalist that might write for 5 or 6 top tier sites, and they might specialize in one area. They might write about technology or food, etc. But once you're in with that one person and you prove you're a good source, they keep coming back. And Jake and Jack and the team are sharing those emails internally, and it's awesome. But if you want to find out more, we've put a new video on our website on the digital PR page. It talks about what is digital PR, how we approach it, some of the results, etc. So go and give that a watch. And last but not least, it's still Black Friday for us. We're running our Black Friday till the end of this week. So you've still got time if you want to go and get some content, if you want to try out the digital PR service. We've got coupons and different discounts and different offers on different services. So head on over to the niche website Black Friday page. Links probably in the comment if Chris and Luke have added it. And grab yourself a coupon and take advantage of it before it runs out at the end of the week. And that's it. Mark, how's your week been? Can't believe it's Thursday. Thanks. It's not even Thursday, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
That's why I can't believe it's Thursday.
Yeah, we're doing 2 this week. Remember, we've been doing 2 a week for a while. But all good. Yeah, just sent a few people out from Craig's channel. So I noticed Richest Domains was over there. So he said long time no see. So it was all good. This week it's only Tuesday, isn't it? After all, but it's going all right. It's going good. It's been a fun month, really. Looking forward to gearing up for Christmas. Got a Christmas tree at the weekend. Recently moved house, as I said, been here a week and a half. So putting up pictures and stuff at the weekends and things like that. All those really interesting things you do when you move. But I'll tell you a story about the Christmas tree. So we where I used to live, like in Reading, there's this place called Christmas Common. It's about 40 minutes drive away. You head down there, you pick up your Christmas tree, and it was all kind of what they'll do is they'll cut them down and then they'll wrap, they're going to put them in effectively like a hanger. And you go and pick your tree in there and they just wrap it up. It's all concrete. So I went and I looked where something similar was around here. And literally in the town that I live, there's a 30-acre Christmas tree farm. And I'm like, brilliant. We'll go down there then. So we went down there and it's like pick your own. So you go into this 30-acre field of Christmas trees, and my daughter was just in her shorts, like the winter, right? We're all in mice and shoes. I'm in trainers, and we're going through this muddy farm, picking our Christmas tree, and it felt a bit like
You were saw then to cut it down yourself, like.
well, the guy had a chainsaw, but like it almost felt like a bit like a big game hunting, because we're walking along, and I'm like, oh my god, we're going to murder a Christmas tree. Like, you know, we're choosing. I don't mind it when they're just on the shelves, but you know, the fact that I've got to pick one and kill it, you know, felt bad. But yeah. So, and of course, there's two types of tree. One smells like Christmas. One's soft. Kids wanted the one that smells like Christmas. Of course, that's at the end field. So we're down there. We go down there, and we pick this Christmas tree, and the guy looks at us, a bit funny anyway, cuts it down, and he goes, "Right, see you later then." And we're like, "Oh shit, we've got to drag this all the way back up the hill ourselves." And so we pick up and so we carry it. And you know, obviously, what looks like a certain size Christmas tree in a field, when you get it in your house, it looks a whole lot bigger. So we got this massive tree, and the guy was like, I might have to put this through a tractor or something. Like, he couldn't pull it through the thing, but he did in the end. But I think we had the biggest tree that he'd seen all day. We didn't really realize it. We knew it was quite wide, and now it is enormous. It's ridiculous. But luckily, my new living room can accommodate and take it. But yeah, that was a fun story for the weekend.
Yeah, that's a good story.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll save it for the last, I think, because I want to keep people on the edge about my what was Pete Tong like, my Pete Tong experience, because it's worth the wait, because it was great night. But yeah, we've got just a couple of quick questions already, which is good. We've got Mick asking what are the Black Friday deals. I mean, just high level, Mick, for you. We've got 20% more content on any content order. So that's just content done for you sites, age domains, etc. So you get 20% more content for free. And on the link building side, we're running promotions on digital PR. So is the 5% discount if you sign up monthly. If you sign up for 3 months and pay up front for those 3 months, you get 7.5% discount. And if you sign up for 6 months and pay the 6 months up front, you get a 10% discount. So they're the deals that we have on. And a couple of people have asked, probably worth covering, that you can buy the deals now and then not use them until the new year, for example. So if you wanted to take advantage of digital PR in the new year and you wanted to get the discount now, you can do that. There's no reason why you couldn't do that.
So Mick was also over on Craig's channel that we sent over, as was Fukwan. So yeah, I mean, we covered a little bit on Craig's channel, like what a niche site is, Fukwan. Probably not going to cover that completely off today. But we're definitely more than happy to talk to you about it. But if you sign up to this channel and go through some of the old videos, we cover off loads and loads of stuff. I mean, all of the videos are about niche websites and how you make money online through publishing content, essentially. So go and check that out as a first step, I guess. And then if you've got questions, I think, you know, feel free to get in contact with us on the Niche Website Builders website.
Yeah. Yeah, well, on to today's topic. I pulled a presentation together, but and it's not many slides, because actually what I spent my time doing instead was going out and finding an example of a site that I think is doing everything that you should be doing in 2023. And I've covered off like exactly what I think they're doing a really good job of. And then I think we'll just go through it. But this essentially is our take, and I just want to caveat that by saying we're not Google. We don't work at Google. We don't work for Google. We have no idea really what Google wants to see in 2023, but all the signs and indicators are kind of pointing towards one way, basically. So we think in 2023, you're going to have to kind of rethink the way you build your website. It's no good just thinking about them as siloed niche websites that are covering one topic with a handful of pieces of content and not going very deep on them, and it's only there to make money. Like that's the old way of thinking about these sites, is throwing them together, maybe even going as far as picking an exact match domain, going after something really narrow and just chucking a couple of articles on there and, you know, ranking it and hoping Google ranks it. Like, that's the old mindset. Coming into 2023, you've got to think of it more as a real business. And to do that, you've got to what we call build your moat. And by building your moat, what I mean is you've got to focus on EAT, which we'll cover in a little bit more, because I think people talk about EAT and they think just one aspect of it. Looks like there's going to be a big push on video content, both as, you know, from a perspective of Google, i.e. they want to see different ways of different formats of content. They want to see that, and it looks like video is important for them. But also in terms of like monetization, I know Ezoic have launched their Whomix platform, which is trying to be competitor to YouTube, and you can monetize your videos in different ways, etc. Building social media channels, and essentially, like everything we'll cover, all comes down to building a website to become an authority and treating it like an actual real business. I put real business in capital letters because we've got to shift the mindset from short-term quick profits into how do I create this as a long-term asset, a long-term business. Yeah, there's going to be more work and there's going to be more investment, and it's harder than creating these short-term cash cows essentially, but it's what you need to do if you want. I think if you want to succeed in 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, sustainable success, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Not just these kind of flash in the pan sites that do really well and then drop off a cliff then in 12 months time or whatever. So I think one of the big things that's going to be, or is important and getting even more important, is EAT, and that's expertise, authority, and trust. And over the last 18 months, Google has been pushing out like requirements for EAT in different ways. And we've seen this in the helpful content update. They want you to produce expert level content, and they don't just want respun kind of garbage content, and they want respun AI content, for example. So they're forcing people to become more of an authority in the written aspect of their website. Then we look at the link spam update, which basically, in order to build a sustainable business and a real business, it's no good just doing forum comments or blog post comments or blogspot link building or low tier kind of link building, business directories. Like all that stuff is really old and terrible. And Google is actually now penalizing you for doing that. If you want to build expertise and authority and trust, you can do that through link building as well these days. And we'll come on a little bit on how you can achieve that. But it's clear Google is basically targeting the two main ingredients for a website, content and links, and pushing people to become more authoritative and expert in those areas with the helpful content update and the link spam update. And then we could see that they also pushed out the product review update, which again is like another addition to the helpful content update, where they're expecting you to be an authority or an expert on the product that you're reviewing. They want videos, they want first-hand kind of experiences of using that. And if you think of it, everything they're doing is pushing you towards, is pushing the site towards needing more EAT. And they don't always get it wrong. They don't always get it right. Like I've got in there that best truck tires. I think it's classic now where they rank Forbes. Forbes as a financial publication has no right ranking for best truck tires. But I think this is an example of where Google is also prioritizing authority. And to do well these days, you can get away with some of the bad things. You can get away with not having EAT elsewhere on the website if you are really authoritative. For example, you can get away with having not producing video content if you have an authority kind of website. So I think there's different various levels you can go to on this, but authority is one of the key ones, I think. I don't know if you've got anything to add to that, Mark.
No, I think that's fair. If you get links from the most trusted sites in the world, and if you get links from them, then obviously inherently Google's going to pass some of that trust onto you and as well. So hopefully that's going to insulate you from these updates. So yeah, I concur.
So yeah, this comes on to kind of that building EAT. And whenever we talk about EAT, most people instantly just think about like the author persona or the About Us page on the website. And while that is super important, and we'll see an example of a really good About Us page, an author page in a bit, but while there's other things that are involved in building EAT, especially going into next year, and that's, the author page. But do you have social media profiles, and are they active? Are they listed on the website? Does it look like there's a real person running this business and they're not just relying on their blog traffic or their blog for the audience that they want to go after? They're going on, they've got Pinterest accounts, they've got YouTube channels, they've got Facebook groups, and they're building their authority outside of just living on the blog. We talk about author and brand mentions. We've got someone interested in the chat, Mark.
They will be gone.
They will be gone.
They're gone.
We also talk about author and brand mentions, and that again is becoming really important for EAT. We talk about it all the time when we talk about Haro and digital PR link building, about how that's great for building like a true digital footprint. Even if your author isn't real, you should still be trying to build your digital footprint. And a great way of doing that is like author and brand mentions on high authority websites. As well as that, the links from high quality publications, they go a long way to building that moat. And the big thing for me for next year is basically, how do you get ahead of the pack? I think everyone's mindset is going to change in the next 12 months around building websites, and lots of people are going to be switching to this kind of mindset. But if you switch early, you can get a head start on these people. We know, for example, running digital PR campaigns is awesome, but it's time intensive. But if you start now, when you run a consistent digital PR campaign for the next 12 months, it's going to be super hard for your competitor to come and catch up with that, for example. It's going to be hard for them to acquire the same kind of link profile. Similar on the content side of things. If you are creating really high quality content at a high content velocity, starting now, it's going to be really difficult for your competitors to catch up with that. Also, another way of building EAT is obviously to build high quality content. And the site I'm going to show you, the guy has done a really good job of this, not only on his own website, but he's demonstrated on other websites that he can produce high quality content. I've not really seen this done before. So when I found it, it was really interesting to see. And again, you'll see it's a lot of work what he's doing, but it puts him in a position where him as an author, as an entity, as an expert on the topic, it's super hard for competitors to now come and imitate what he's done and what he's doing. And also having unique videos and images is another way of building EAT essentially. And this guy does a good job of unique images. Not an amazing job, but he does a really good job of unique videos, and then he's reusing that content on his YouTube channel then, but he's integrating it within the blog. So this is the site I found, and it took me quite a while to find this, and it's called thisonlineworld.com. So it's 4 years old, and it's got 608 pieces of content. We'll go through all these, but the author about this page is awesome. They've got several social media profiles. They've got a YouTube channel with 17,000 subscribers, a small Facebook group with 300 members. They write on Medium, and they've got 1,400 followers, Pinterest, and they've got a Twitter account as well. This is the interesting bit for me, but they also guest author on other high quality niche sites. And I'm not talking about guest posts here. I'm talking about they're actually an author, and they might have 5, 10, 15 hyper related pieces of content on the same topics they talk about on their own site. And I've pulled them up, and we can see what they write about. We can see the DRs and the traffic those sites have. But in terms of a digital footprint perspective, like, we're talking DR80 sites, and this guy is a verified author that's got 15 pieces of content all along a DR80 site. He's got an author box on there that links back to his website. Like, not only is he getting awesome links, he's basically proven to Google, and as a byproduct, he's probably getting a ton of referral traffic, but he's proven to Google that he's an expert in this topic, not just on his own website, but in sites that also surround the topic and surround his niche as well. He also adds unique videos and images throughout the content, and it's expert level content. So let me share my screen and pull up what this website is.
Yeah, just checking it out myself as well, actually.
Yeah. So this is it. I mean, the homepage probably leaves a lot to desire. Like, it's not an amazing looking homepage. It does the job. We've got this featured on kind of section here, which is quite nice. And then we've just got the standard kind of blog roll based by different categories in there. Also on the homepage, he's promoting the YouTube page, which I think is important. But if you just come on this site, on the homepage, you probably wouldn't think it's doing as well as it's doing, because it just looks like a kind of a normal site. But the first thing I want to touch on is this About Us page. And let me just pull it up. Yeah. So this About Us page, I think, has got everything. Like, it ticks every single box. First of all, there's an introduction which talks about what is this website. So, like, what's the mission of the website itself? And it's obviously how to make money online, how to save money. But it's just a nice kind of complete introduction to what is this online world. And then we've got a bit about Tom Blake himself. So this is the guy, and this is actually a real guy. So it might be a little bit more difficult to do this with a persona, but it says, you know, who is he? This is the guy behind it, how old he is, where's he from, etc. But also, he then starts linking out to other places where he might have seen his work. So he's been included in Investor Junkie and The College Investor and Greedy Rates and Money Crushers and Frugal Rules. And we've even got a mention on Forbes. And when I looked at that, essentially he's got this looks like some kind of maybe potentially Haro or digital PR outreach. It's been included in like a roundup piece of content. But this right here starts to build, I mean, on Forbes, a picture that this guy is an expert in the field. And then he's got previous experience and plans for the blog. So he talks about what he did before and why that kind of qualified him for writing this kind of content. Some nice internal links through to probably some of his best performing content on there. And he talks about his experience of starting this website. And this, I think, is awesome. Like, I don't think I've seen an About Us page where he's actually shared like the growth screenshot. And again, he's using it to internally link through to some of his best performing content. So he links through to making money with blogging, etc. He talks about how he makes $20,000 a month in another piece, and he uses Mediavine, and he's got a Mediavine review piece of content. Talks about some traveling that he's done, etc. And then this other bit that I like on here is got his editorial standards, and it tells you how they don't accept payments for reviews and how they're independent and how it's transparent. And you've got links into the contact page. And they've also got a team page, which is interesting. They've got an About Us page, and they've got a team page, which, again, talks about their kind of editorial standards, how they're honest, actionable, fun. They've got more stuff about Tom and more internal linking and where he's been featured. And then they've also got the other personas. And this is cool because these look like real people. This links through to a journalportfolio.com website for Selena. And we've got Daniel Freeman, and you can find him over in his blog, Modern Teen, and Kim. Like, these seem real people. And this, to me, just screams like authentic, awesome job of what an About Us and kind of meet the team structure should look like, I think, for next year. Have you ever seen a page an About Us and a team page that look like that, Mark? I think it's the first time I've seen it in depth.
Yeah, it's really detailed, and I guess linking up to those sites, it just helps Google, doesn't it? Linking up to the sites where he's wrote articles. We've got those links. Are they linking off to like an author page? Or are they linking off to?
Yeah, so these link to an author page. This one links through to
the article. Yes, I mean, obviously it's just making it easy for Google to join the dots then, right? On that. So yeah, I love it.
I wonder if they've got that would be the other thing. I wonder if they're using any kind of person or organization schema. And I'm just going to drop in that we're doing a live stream about schema next week, on Thursday this week. So they've got organizational schema, but this just looks like standard stuff. But I wondered if they'd included in here any links through to like Forbes or anything like that. But it doesn't look like they have. They
could do, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should hit them up and make that suggestion.
Come on, yeah. But for me, that's like an awesome. So if we bring this back up, the author and About Us page, it's awesome. Like, they've done an incredible job on the author and About Us page and the team page. The next thing is to look at their social media profiles, and they've got them listed on. They're easily accessible, and they talk about them both throughout the content and like on the homepage or on the About Us page, kind of wherever they feel like if it would fit. Naturally, they talk about their social media, and we've got This Online World, 323 followers on Facebook. I mean, it's not super active. Last post was in July, and it doesn't look like they're doing anything special on here. It looks like it almost feels like they might be using a bit of if this then that, like when a new blog post goes live, then post it, or when a new YouTube video goes live. Like, there's nothing in here, and they don't have. There's no interaction on any of these posts. There's like one like, nothing. But I think just from this expertise, authority, and trust angle, having a Facebook page, even if you just set it up to run if this then that, it looks fairly active, even if it's not getting a ton of engagement. It looks like a part of the bigger picture, essentially. We've got the Medium page. They've got 1,400 followers on here. again, they link out, and they also link out to the YouTube. And essentially, these are kind of like, basically, I think, I didn't check, but I think these are almost rewrites of what's on their actual website. So I don't know how that works with Medium. I've never really done a ton with Medium, but you can see in here, like, even the stuff they put out on Medium, they're taking their own screenshots of stuff. Like, they've got unique images in there. It's just good content, even though it's not even on their own kind of their own platform. Pinterest, they've got 3.7k followers on there. This looks like they're actually doing a strategy. These look like images that are created to be pinned, or these look like videos essentially. So they're obviously following some kind of Pinterest strategy. It will be interesting to know, and I don't know, but how much traffic they get from Pinterest. I don't know, 22,000 monthly views. I don't know how much of that would convert into traffic. But aside from getting the traffic, the big thing is that they've got this presence on Pinterest, and it looks real, and it links back, and it's just another big part of the bigger moat picture, essentially. They've got Twitter. They've got 4,000 followers. This is more active, but again, it kind of looks like this is a bit like of the If This Then That. It's just their latest YouTube video. They retweet quite a bit, so a couple of retweets. This was an article that he wrote for someone else. So this one looks more like he's actually putting time and attention into Twitter on here. And then I think YouTube is the biggest area that he's focusing on. They've got 17,500 subscribers. And if we look back, the first video went live 2 years ago. So even though the website is 4 years old, only 2 years ago did they start the kind of YouTube channel. And yeah, I mean, in 2 years, that's not a ton of videos to push out in 2 years. When you think about it, it was probably one every month, I guess, maybe one bit more than one a month. But I imagine they're making some revenue from that now, and it's more about the bigger picture of building up this moat, getting people to see the website as like an authority. And what would you trust more if you were Google? Would you trust a website that talks about finance and doesn't have an About Us page, doesn't have a Facebook group or a YouTube channel? Or would you trust someone like this who's got all these other additional kind of add-ons that go into it? And I think Google's favoring much more towards this kind of thing now. But this is the other thing I wanted to talk about is on here, they've got guest authors on high quality niche related sites. And if we look at this, so Investor Junkie, they're a DR70.
Oh, and he needs to move it over to that screen.
Oh, sorry. There we go. So they're it's Investor Junkie. They're a DR70, 250,000 visits per month, and Tom has managed to become like an author on there. And you can see that it's not just one piece of content he's written for this website. There's lots and lots and lots of pieces of content that he's written for this website, and they're very similar to the pieces of content that he creates for his own site, but what this does is, obviously, there's going to be a ton of referral traffic from here. You can see that. I don't know if this is likes or what these flames kind of represent, but lots of these have seems to have got lots of views, essentially. And on each of them, you've got Tom Blake here mentioned at the top. And I think on this one, you've also got him mentioned on the bottom as well. So as a digital footprint, like, can you get any better than being a guest author with 20, 30 pieces of content all on the same topic on a DR70 website? Like, I don't know. I've not seen this strategy before. You become a guest author and you provide so much value that they want you. You're almost like part of the Investor Junkie team, right? Have you ever seen that before, Mark?
No, I guess probably like on massive brands, you'd end up seeing stuff like that, right? Like, or big sites, big YouTube channels, not something I guess is relatively on the smaller side. I mean, obviously he's getting a lot of traffic now, but yeah, I know this
looks like a strategy as well, though, because he's got it on Investor Junkie. He's done the same thing on the College Investor. So this is his author page, and these are all the pieces of content that he's written on College Investor.
It does feel like a strategy as opposed to like treating it as a, is he really into this stuff and he just wants to write for all of these places, or is it just a SEO strategy? Like, I guess it's hard to tell, but I guess it seems more like an SEO strategy. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, well, I think he might have started the other way around. So I think he might have just been a freelance writer, writing for these websites, and then decided he was going to start his own website.
That makes sense.
But you could do it the other way around. Like, you could totally make this as a strategy. I guess the hard part is you've got to be able to write this kind of quality content or for these other people. And I don't know if he gets paid for this content, for writing this content as a, like a freelance author or something, but it definitely feels like he's treating this as, even if it didn't start out that way, it feels like he's definitely treating it now as like a strategy. So he's got tons of content on a DR74, 830 visits per month. Same on Greedy Rates. Again, some of this stuff is new. So like I say new, it's not super old. So this was from April. His last piece from here was October. So last month, like he's still doing this. This one's November 2022. So he's still doing this actively right now. Greedy Rates, which is a DR58, 116,000 visits. He's on Money Crashers. And again, lots of content that he's written on there. A DR82, 500,000 visits. Frugal Rules, there he is again with more content. 58, 129,000 visits. So yeah, I think as a strategy, like, and as a way of building your brand persona, your kind of personal persona in the space, I think this guy's cracked the code. Like, I've generally not seen anybody else, or on sites that we would consider like niche sites, for example. Like I would still consider his website a niche content site. You'll find it on big brands and like top tier publications, but on what we consider like niche sites, I think you'd struggle to find somebody doing a better job of building their brand, their expertise, their authority and trust than this website as almost like a guide or a template to follow.
Yeah. Like it.
And yeah, unique videos and images throughout the content. Like he's definitely got that. If we have a look at any of these. So like this is an actual screenshot that they've taken. This is a screenshot from eBay. I don't know if they've got that themselves or not. Facebook Marketplace. Like it feels like these are obviously not stock images. So adding unique images is definitely something they're doing. They're not doing tons of videos within the pieces of content, even though I think they've got a good. I think what they're doing is the YouTube videos that they've got, they're repurposing those into blogs, but they're not creating unique videos for each of the. Like they wouldn't create a new video for where to sell VHS tapes, for example, but they're still using video and reusing their YouTube videos throughout the website as well. And so what does good look like? This is what good looks like. This site is doing $20,000 a month. It's actually up for sale right now. It's up for sale for $775,000. They've achieved this in 4 years, but if we look at the strategies they've implemented, they started the YouTube channel 2 years ago. I didn't go back and have a look when they'd started doing those guest authors and guest posting, but I imagine they might have done it from the start. It might have been like a byproduct, but to build an asset that's worth $775,000 in 4 years with 600 pieces of content is a massive achievement. And I think a big part of that is gone into this authorship, this brand building. Essentially, the brand is Tom. I know the website is called This World Online, but the brand is him as the author. And the good thing about that is he sells this website, assuming he doesn't have any non-compete. He's still got all that authority. He's still got all that authorship all out there, and he could probably start it again.
Yeah, for sure. Good to get him on a show one day, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think we reach out to him basically and say like, come and show us how you did this because it's awesome. We love it.
Yeah.
And which parts of it were like byproducts of you doing freelance work, and which parts were actively like an SEO strategy or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? Like he probably he's treated whatever he's doing as a real business, because it was his real business. It was his freelance. It was his work.
Yeah.
He's not shy, at least at the beginning, probably wasn't trying to engineer anything in particular. It's just but we've got to imitate that. We're not trying to pretend to be a real business.
No.
You got to act like you really are a real business. Like I think we always,
Yeah.
especially as affiliates and stuff over the years when it was easier to rank for stuff, it's about finding that shortcut, finding that quick way. That's what I guess what we're saying here. In 2023, it's time to hang those shoes up and start being serious about what you're doing.
And Johnny says that's a pretty powerful personal brand, which would take a while to build. And yeah, like nobody's saying this is easy. Like it's incredibly hard work to build this. But once you've got that moat, which is I think the bit that we were getting at the start, once you've built that moat, it's actually incredibly difficult for your competitors to then come and imitate. And once you've got that kind of moat of expertise, authority, and trust, and high quality backlinks, and all these other things, I imagine he's pretty insulated to Google Updates as well, or much more insulated than a website with a rubbish, poor about us page and no authority and no expertise, essentially no digital footprint. I imagine he would fare much better in future Google Updates.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to just a couple of touch on, because we looked at what a good example is. I think these are some of the other things which we've covered lots of these, but the other things to think about as we go into 2023. And the first one is moving away from keyword research to entity building. I'll plug it again. I'm doing this live stream on Thursday, which talks about using schema to build entity. It's still fairly new. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it all. But when you think of it from the way Google looks at a piece of content, they don't really look at keywords anymore. They look at things and entities and how everything's connected together on a knowledge graph. And I think coming into next year, it'll pay dividends to start thinking about how to structure a website, how to do research for topics based on entities and how they're connected together, rather than just taking it from a keyword level, essentially. Clustering topics with high relevancy, I think that's also important. Google say that they want to see websites that are authorities on topics. If you've got a website about DIY and you do a little bit about painting, a little bit about fixing toilets, and a little bit about wallpapering, they're probably not going to see you as an authority on all those sub areas. So I think a renewed focus, it's already important, but a renewed focus on kind of that clustering together of articles and topics of high relevance. Siloing, essentially. People call it different. Speak to 5 different SEOs and they'll call it something slightly different, I think. But essentially it's clustering or siloing or grouping together highly related content. The other thing we talked about is less low quality link building. Google spam update came out and destroyed websites that were building low quality links, which is one of the needs why we launched our digital PR service, because it's the highest quality link. Less low quality content, hopefully we'll see. I mean, we still see the SERPs. We still see those horrible sites in the SERPs which are just scraped AI content that make no sense, or they're scraping Amazon product descriptions with a generic intro and they're still doing well. I think we're seeing less of those now. I follow a guy called Glenn and he tracks these big sites and he's seen a lot of them be de-indexed over the last couple of months since the helpful content update. And I'm hoping that trend continues and we don't put in tons of hard work into our websites with good quality content, researched, and then it gets outranked by a scraper website with shit content. Excuse my French. I hope we see way less of that next year. And also site improvements. All these come from Google Updates. The page experience update was more all about your user experience and your speed, the technical aspects of running a website. Chris, Benji's dad, said I got a site and fix the speed and page experience and the traffic doubled overnight. If that's not a signal that it's becoming more important for Google to give users a good user experience, I don't know what is. So I think that's going to become even more important and almost a point of differentiation. If you're doing all the right things and your competitors are doing all the right things, there's going to be some kind of point of differentiation. I think it's going to be kind of like the technical UX and page speed and that kind of stuff. And that's it, basically. That's my thoughts, my little half-hour thoughts on what I think 2023 should look like from building a niche website perspective.
It's pretty simple, right? We could, like I say, simple, not simple to execute, but simple in terms of we didn't come up with the top 20 things you got to do in 2023. Like, I think this has got to be like a real core focus now. Of course, building trust encompasses lots and lots of different things, but overall, really, it all comes under that one banner, right? Of being genuine and real.
Yeah.
Got a few things here from the audience. So, Baz, I don't know if you're going to reveal this at some point, Baz, but got a project on for a real business using blogging for real world products. This next year is going to be crazy. So I don't know if you're allowed to announce it yet or anything, Baz, but feel free to if you want to. But like, yeah, interested to hear what you're up to for sure.
Yeah.
Richie says, do you think it is possible to create a directory if you also include videos and how-tos and content regarding the directory topic? Yeah. Like what? Why? Yeah. Why not have a blog associated with your directory and creating topics and videos and how-tos around that? So I think, yeah, I mean that's definitely going to help, right? In terms of ranking for stuff.
Yeah, I think like a directory in that essence would be more akin to ranking an e-commerce site where your directory listings would be your product, and then you've got to have like category pages which you'd fill out with content and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think in that case, if you were going to go down that route, we go and have a look at what good e-commerce sites are doing. How are they structuring their content on their category pages? How are they doing their internal linking? I don't know where you're pulling your directory information from, whether it's going to be like a programmatic SEO play or whether there's option for rewriting some of that directory stuff so it's not the same information as everyone else has.
Yeah,
there's tons of different stuff that come into play when you're talking about a directory, but probably more so on the more similar to an e-commerce than a content site.
Yeah, but creating content for it, yeah, there's no reason why it shouldn't work.
Yeah.
Does adding your site logo and words on a stock image make it a unique image? Yes, it does. So yeah, I mean, effectively, when you're using a stock image, I can't remember what it's called, like the raw data behind an image.
Metadata.
Is it that? I can't remember. Yeah, but essentially, yeah, there's loads and loads of metadata that's associated to a particular image. I can't remember. There's just like, I don't know if it's 100, as many as 100, but it's kind of like there's all sorts of stuff that's there, which basically gives it a fingerprint, a footprint to say that image is that image. As soon as you change it though and save it as something else, if you add stuff to it, it loses all that metadata is changed and gone, so it becomes unique at that point. So yeah, in the eyes of a machine and in the eyes of Google, yeah, it's different even if you made a subtle change.
Yeah.
And
Chris is asking, have you ever considered doing a news site to help clients with Associated Press syndication? Hit us up because we might be able to help you. We don't have a news site, but I think we have some connections which may be able to get you AP syndication if that's what you want. I question what your motives were for trying to get AP syndication rather than just doing a digital PR campaign. Like, why specifically AP syndication and what's the value you're going to add with your syndicated piece? But yeah, if you set on AP syndication, Chris, then shoot me a message on Slack, or shoot me an email, and we can help you out there somehow.
Thank you, Bone Junkie. That was it. EXIF data. Yeah, I'm not particularly a photography person, although maybe in another life. But yeah, I like EXIF. Yeah, it's the stuff. That's what it's called. Hang on, there's another one from Eunice. I have high authority domain, but without a good historic content, can I succeed? Yeah, so I mean, if that's a brand new age domain that you've got, depends what you mean by not very good historic content. If it's bad, spammy content, then you probably want to stay away from that. But if you're saying the content's just not been very good and therefore it's not ranking, there's no reason why you can't turn that around and rewrite some of those articles, make them better, create new content and start to build from there. So yeah, it can. I think just if the site was doing anything nefarious in the past, before you acquired that high authority domain, then that would be a red flag for us, like putting too much investment in it until we've seen something. Yeah, and you'd always wonder, right? Even if you got initial early traction, is it going to catch up with you down the road? So I'm not quite sure which angle that question is, but yes or no, depending on which way it is.
Typical SEO answer, it depends, right?
Yeah.
Chris I'd question what the what you think you'd get out of that, I guess, from a link building perspective.
Yeah, Dennis, we don't have any links on the site actually, but if you drop a message into the chat box or contact form on our website, nichewebsite.builders, then the team will send you over some content samples for you to look at. Spirit of Sapphire says, is Google going to sort out its indexation in 2023? That's the real question. It's driving me nuts.
Well, I don't know if you saw, what's his name from Google came out this week and said that according to their crawlers, 60% of the internet is duplicate content. Like,
right.
I can't imagine the kind of problems they would have of crawling the internet and then finding 60% of it being duplicate and then figuring out who the real owner is, who came first. Like, there's no wonder they're having issues indexing. How are they going to fix that? When they're going to fix it? I don't know. And it seems
transparent about it, even.
Yeah. It's not every site gets indexing issues, but if you do have indexing issues, it is really difficult to get that thing going. Then
that's interesting. I didn't see that article actually, but there's because there was bugs. There's been bugs in the past, which meant there was been issues with indexation, right? And I think it was just the assumption was that this was a long-lasting, still having kind of issues around that. But if it's an intentional not indexing pages, that changes the ballgame, doesn't it? Completely. So.
Yeah, and you've also got this with AI content now. Like, how many websites are spinning up with 50, 60,000 pieces of content that's not unique, but is a close replica of something else? Like, how do they deal with that? How are they going to fix that? How are they going to determine? And I think some of these latest updates are trying to fix that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll fix it, but I don't know.
So Jake's saying, a lot of the time AP syndications don't actually link. Neither does Reuters. So maybe it's not a good link building strategy, Chris.
Yes, we did see that. And I don't know if it's already out of date, because the day they launched it, the GT3 pushed out a new model, DaVinci 03, which is like an update to 02, which all the tools are currently using. Apparently, I've seen some people saying that they run this new DaVinci 3 model through AI detector tools, and it's coming up 95% plus as human written content. So I don't know. And also GT4 is going to be launched next year, apparently. OpenAI have said that. And it's going to be totally different data set. These tools, I think, are always going to be playing a game of cat and mouse, where you are always trying to unpick the latest round of kind of modeling and testing by these AI tools, and then you're always going to be playing catch up. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good short-term thing, but I don't know what the future of that. I don't know what the future of that as a business model is, to be fair, because you're always going to be changing and chasing.
I think so. Mudit, can you please suggest some good resources for building topical authority map? Any template? So I guess the closest one is kind of Keyword Cupid, right? Probably.
Yeah, so that's a tool which allows you to build it. It depends on what you want to do, if you want to build it yourself or if you want someone else to build you your topical authority map. Keyword Cupid, Cluster AI essentially do get you 80% of the way there. You pull your keywords out of Ahrefs or wherever you're going to pull them, and then they cluster them together into like a topical authority map. But in our experience, if you just put the keywords in there and run it and then went with their suggestions, it's horribly wrong. Now, there are other services. I know Yao, we've had him on our channel from Niche Surfer. He's recently launched a topical authority map service where you tell him the niche and he'll go away and he'll build out a spreadsheet that covers the authority map. I guess the hard bit about that, and I was speaking to someone about this recently, is, and it's almost, I don't know the answer because everyone who speaks has got a slightly different answer, but how do you cluster together a topical authority map And I'll give some broad examples because we talk, food is probably the easiest one. So do you build a topical authority map talking about healthy food? How deep do you go, first of all? Do you start with healthy food, or do you start with healthy chicken food, or do you start with healthy beef food, or do you start with healthy chicken food for weightlifters? Like, how deep do you go into that that topical map to start with? And then what's to say, why would you start there? If you're going to do like healthy chicken recipes, why wouldn't you just say, well, my topical authority is going to be chicken, and I'm going to cover chicken recipes for weightlifting. But then how deep do you go on that? Do you cover why is chicken a good source of protein? The difference between organic and grass-fed chickens? Chicken cruelty? Like, how deep and far do you go with these topical maps? I think that's the question, which is hard to figure out. And I don't think anyone's quite cracked. Do you go deep in one area? Do you go wide, but still try and keep it contained in a box? And I've not even seen any guides on there with people who've kind of explained that in a...
It's different for each niche as well, right? But you need a bit of human input. I think these tools that we've mentioned can help you uncover some stuff maybe you hadn't thought of as well. But yeah, he's going to need some human input, really. There's not a magic bullet, really.
No.
So CX Nation, what's your outlook for 2023 for blogging? I think pretty much covered a lot of it, like in today. But I think the outlook's still bright for bloggers. It's still a great opportunity, still a great return on investment. If anything, some of these updates that have been affecting bloggers might actually thin the field a little bit. So those people that are looking for the quick wins, they don't want to invest a lot of time in it. They're just trying to find a fast way to success. And actually, they're the ones that aren't going to succeed, like in the long term. And maybe we'll find more and more people giving up. So if you're in it and you're serious about it, and you're going to treat it as a real business, as we said, then I think the future's bright. And actually, there may be, at least for now, like less competition. So I think, it's always as good as the business model is as good as it's ever been. Ad rates still going up over time. So the opportunity is still there. Okay. Sorry, just trying to track questions, but I think that's kind of most of the questions there we've kind of picked up.
Yeah. How many likes are we on? Got to be on 35 likes. Got 29 people watching.
41 likes. So we're there.
Awesome.
So we'll talk about the shows that are coming up, but in the meantime, we've passed the 35 likes from merch. So if you're interested in some merch, type something into the chat now. Anything. We just need something in there so that we can pick your name up from YouTube. But just type something in the chat now, even if you've typed something before, and we'll get you into the draw.
And I'll just talk about what I'm going to chat about on Thursday, because I think you're potentially not going to be on a Thursday, so it's going to be me and Elena. And Elena's going to be doing her age domain teardowns, and I'm going to be talking about building. I can't remember the exact title. Building. What's the exact title?
An introduction to entity building.
Yes, entity building via schema, or an introduction to entity building. And lots of this came about kind of recently. I'm no expert on this. I've looked at the few resources that are out there. Actually, I couldn't find a ton of resources talking about how to build entities into schema and what that actually means, because even just saying that just sounds like something very fluffy. But what I'm going to try and explain is how Google works these days. Rather than working on a keyword level, they work on an entity level, which is things connected on the knowledge graph. And if they connect enough things together, they understand the topic of what you're talking about. But they can get confused about what those things are. And I'll show some awesome examples around, on the basic level. If you mention the word Apple on your blog post, that is a thing, and Google can relate that back to something on the knowledge graph. But are you talking about Apple the fruit? Are you talking about Apple the software or technology company? Are you talking about Adam as in like someone's Adam's apple? And most of the time, Google does a really good job of understanding what you're talking about. You might be talking about apple the fruit, for example, and they know that based on what else you talk about. But you can mark up your blog post to say in no uncertain terms to Google, it's apple the fruit I'm talking about, because it's the same as this Wikipedia page, and it's the same as this Wikidata page. And people call this wikification, or, And I'm going to go into some detail on how that works. And also, I've started running a test on one of my personal websites where I've taken 10 pieces of content. I've got 5 as control. I've got 5 as ones I'm testing. And I've added this kind of schema markup to those 5. And I'm going to test it for the next 30 days to see, does it impact traffic? And the outcome might be that it doesn't impact traffic. And I should have updated more pieces of content. Like, it might just work on a site-wide level. But either way, when I showed the team this internally, they were excited. They thought it looked awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to share what that looks like with you guys. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, it's a little bit more of a technical episode. I'll be doing that Thursday at 3 p.m. on our channel.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's the one thing Tony says in there. He's I've used a plugin for schema, but I should take the time to learn it. This kind of schema you can't add with a plugin. That's the only downside at the moment, anyway. It's very difficult to.
That's the opportunity as well, I suppose.
Yeah, you have to custom code. You have to customize some of the schema that comes out of Rank Math or Yoast or even specialist schema plugins. If you want to, I did a ton of searching, and then I rolled my sleeves up and decided I had to create the schema manually, and took a while to create. But yeah, that could be the opportunity, is that these plugins don't add it, and opportunity for you.
Excellent. So, I think we're ready for the draw. Oh, hang on, Eunice. Oh, I think we're both pressing it. What do you think about changing the niche and the language of Age Domain to English?
I'd say no, to be fair.
Yeah. Again, you're taking a risk. It's problematic, potentially. So avoid.
Everything about Age Domain is all about relevance, and non-English to English probably dilutes some of that. And if you don't speak the language that it came from, like, how can you be sure that it was decent, or how can you do due diligence checks as well? It's just more difficult.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right, should I get some music on?
Get some music on. It's the draw. It's draw time.
A bit of background. Tony reckons we can add our own music to this, by the way.
On Restream?
Yeah, apparently. Well, I'm meeting up with Tony the Gardener next week to see his office, because he lives about 20 minutes down the road, and we're going to have a pint, and I'm going to pick your brains, Tony, on how to add our own custom music, because I want Kanye for our outro music. Right? That's what I want. Yeah, or a bit of Jay-Z or something.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, they couldn't. I asked their support when we first got it, like, I don't know, a year ago, and you couldn't then. And they couldn't really understand why you'd want to, which I thought was a bit weird. But yeah, maybe they've added it since.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's do it. Maybe there's like chill.
That always messes you up, though. When I turn that on and you start speaking, try it again.
Hello.
It's fine now. Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah. Whenever you have the names of their songs are not, well, this is supposed to be chilled. Doesn't feel that chill.
No.
Anyway, it's a draw. Good luck, everyone. Wow, it feels long today.
It is, isn't it? It's very long. Mario or
Matt. It's Matt. Sorry, Mario.
Matt who, though? It's just the first name. How cryptic.
Yeah, it is cryptic. Cryptic Matt. Yeah, congratulations, Matt. If you head over to nichewebsite.builders, send a message on the chat or the contact form, and we'll get you some merch. We've got caps, we've got mugs, we've got different t-shirts and stuff as well. So if you want a t-shirt, we'll get your size sorted and everything. So yeah, head over there and we'll get you sorted out for some merch. And
Awesome.
send us some pictures with there's not enough people sending us pictures with their merch. So yeah, send us pictures with your merch.
He says, thanks, guys. I never win anything. Well, now you do, Matt. Congratulations.
Awesome. Cool. Fantastic. Let's wrap it up there then. Till Thursday, eh?
See you on Thursday. Have a good week, everyone. Catch you later.
See ya. Bye. Oh, last thing. Black Friday. Still on. Have you mentioned that? You mentioned at the start, didn't you?
I did. I mentioned
Friday.
Mention it again. Go for it.
Had a few times. Yeah. So it runs out. Our Black Friday deals run out Friday, I think. So grab them now. Friday or Sunday. One of those. So yeah, not long left. So
don't risk it. Do it by Friday.
Yeah. 20% more content on anything content related, and up to 10% off digital PR we keep talking about. So if you're interested in that, head over to the site and grab the coupons.
Yeah.
Right. Catch you there. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome.